whole story of Mr. R. Kelly. So, R. Kelly, he alleges that the guards in the prison where he's serving time for having sex with minors, he's been in jail for many years right now dealing with that situation. So he's been locked up over the years. And he alleges that the guards drugged him. So he was overdosed, and the guards allegedly gave him anxiety medication that they knew was bad for him and too much. So they purposely overdosed him, right? Now, there's a whole drama going on, whether this is true or whether it's not, or situation, but that's what he is saying, right? And also, he was in the hospital that time, recently, around the same time, and he was having issues with his health going on, and saying that he had blood clots in his, in his body, and that the prison forced him to leave the hospital too early, knowing that he had blood clots going on in his body, and so on and so forth, right? All of this is going on. They're denying it. That's what his attorneys are saying. So he is asking he did ask for release from prison because he doesn't feel that it's safe in there. So his attorneys don't believe it's safe. He doesn't believe it's safe. So they reached out and said, can he have a home sentencing, to be on home confinement, right? And they came back just recently, I think it was today, and they denied it. They said, no, you ain't going home, bitch. No, you're staying your ass right here. You are not going anywhere. But he doesn't feel safe. And his attorneys are fighting it. And they're saying it's not fair. He is not safe in prison. You have these guards, giving him anxiety medication. Now he's being overdosed without his knowledge. It's just not safe. That's what his attorneys are saying. So it's crazy what's going on right now, and everything that he's went through or that he's put people through. These minors, it's just sad. The whole story is sad, right? So it's crazy what's going on. And I was thinking to myself, so I said, let me ask Kay what he thinks about this whole situation in terms of, do you think that criminals, right? Do you think that they deserve or they should be treated safely while they are locked up in prison for crimes that they committed? Crimes like R. Kelly, having sex with minors and all this other things that he's done, and criminals in general. Do you believe that even criminals should be treated fairly in jail and be protected by the law and be treated, being treated safely? Or do you think, well, they're just criminals and who the hell cares? Because his attorneys are just saying, he needs to be let out because his life is in danger. So do you think that criminals should be treated safely and their life be, protected as well, the rest of us? What do you think about that?
Yeah, man. Yes, I do. I think there's an expectation that you don't go to jail to die by the hands of people who were there to essentially protect you, right? Now, and so if he's being issued medication that's inappropriate and things being done to him, no, that shouldn't happen, 100%. But I will say, what the hell does that have to do with being released, right? Jail sucks, bro. Knock on wood, I've never been incarcerated, but I don't know of many people, if any, that come back saying, man, whoo, that was great. Can't wait to go back there, right? Jail sucks, and that's the way that is. Now, again, I don't think anyone, guards and as such, and people who were essentially in position of authority should be doing anything to him. That's some fracking out of bullshit right there.
Well, we know what happens, though.
No, it does happen. But you know what? There's something in between his safety and releasing him. This country has hundreds of prisons, if not thousands, right? Then put him in another location, right? But there's a lot that can take place before we start to talk about releasing and or house arrest, right? To me, I don't get it. And it's so funny because even in this story and that you're talking about, one of the victims, and I don't know how accurate it is, I was reading it, also thought that this was an attempted ruse to get out. before completing your sentence. Now I don't even recall what his sentence is. I think after a while you just stop counting, right?
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like
Yep.
they just hit you with numbers. It just looks like the stock exchange, man. It's just numbers all over the place.
Right, right.
And so he's got one of those kind of bids. But she said, listen, she felt no sympathy or anything. I won't go that far, but I'm not a fan of the idea of maybe releasing people after those that commit crimes against victims and then say, hey, get me out of here because jail's far worse than what I thought it was going to be. And that's what it kind of feels like to me.
But you said you don't know what's the difference. Well, you don't equate why they should release him, even though. But here's the thing: if he's not safe, right, and they kill him in jail, if these guards or whatever are doing things against him, even though he is a criminal, he's been convicted, right, for it. I mean, it's not safe for him. They might end up killing him, and that is not right either. So his attorneys want him released just for his safety. That makes sense, right?
No, it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense. And that's
I mean,
why,
two crimes don't make it right.
No, well, that's why I said he can be transferred to another facility where if it's these guards, if it's a set of guards at that location, then put them in another location. Listen, there's no shortage of jails in the U.S., right?
Right.
I mean, pick a card, right? You can get, there's other places they can put him in. And I don't know if he's in the state system or the federal system at this point. I don't really know. But regardless, there's other locations you can put them in. Prisoners get transferred to other facilities all the time. And that's why I said there's a chasm between unsafe and being released. There's just places you can put people, right, and still do your time. You owe your debt to society,
right?
And society wants its money, right? They want its compensation. So I think from that standpoint, we should consider that. And it's you can't help. To me, every time you talk about releasing people early, I'd say just out of respect, give at least some thought to the victim. Right? Give some thought to the victims. Because I think sometimes we gloss over that. And I get it. We're in a time of prison reform and how we do things and how we incarcerate people. And we all know that justice is not blind and so forth and so on. All right. But in many cases, there's still a victim on the end of whatever decision that we make. Yeah. Right? So, therefore, with that being said, what about the victims, right? So I don't know. To me, Jay, if he really is in danger, which I hope not, and he shouldn't be, but if he really is, something should be done to where his safety is important. And if that means transferring him to another facility, then they should do that. But to me, does that rise to the level of freeing this brother? Right. I don't see that. I don't see that.
You know, a lot of people who committed crimes like him, whether you move them from this jail to the next jail, a lot of these people, a lot of the guards, and a lot of people who work in these prisons, they don't look too kindly on them, especially when they do crimes against children like that, especially sex acts. Right. They don't look too kindly on them, and they have it out for them regardless of what prison they are in. So I know R. Kelly's attorney knows that if it's happening in this prison currently, it's going to happen in the next one. So he just feels like it is safer for him to just be getting out. It's almost even like you think about the victims, right? You think about the victims. I know that if someone did something like that against, my family member, especially someone, a young child like that, I would want to make sure that they are locked up in jail for the rest of their life. I don't want them getting killed, right? Because being killed is too easy. They're no longer in this world. They're not suffering the pain and being locked up behind bars for so many years. I want to make sure that they rot there and they live to 111 years old, just like I want to live, but not free like me. 111 years in jail. I want to make sure that they are locked up for life. So if you look at the victim side of it, I don't want the guards to kill him. If that's what's really happening, I'm not saying it is, but I'm saying if that's what's really happening, I don't want him getting out that easy. So, you know what? hey, maybe the best thing is to be released. And then, like you said, prison reform. And listen, prison reform, people are letting people out in jail. You see a lot of these people, like there was rumors that Diddy was speaking about this, and R. Kelly just came out asking President Trump to consider him for a pardon. You know, a lot of these criminals are, I feel like a lot of these criminals, it's almost celebrated today. And a lot of these laws and about, you know, pardoning people is crazy. I mean, it's a whole another topic, but still, like, I feel like a lot of these people are being considered to being released or put in home confinement or things like that. And, you know, sometimes it is for their safety, you know, so they're human beings too. You know, but still.
Right. No, and I'm not mad at it, right?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna hold Robert Kelly. If he can get out, I mean, if this was to help him get out, then like, shoot your shot. Take a chance, like a roll of the dice. You never know, right? Like maybe you get a sympathetic judge, or someone that says, yeah, no, and they release him. So I ain't gonna hold him, but I wouldn't be surprised if someone said, "Come on, man, come on, fam. Like that ain't happening."
Yeah, exactly.
So,
It's a great. I forget the name of the guy. White gentleman. He got killed in jail. I forget the guy's name. He had all those sex crimes or whatever. I'm forgetting the guy's. Remember the guy's name? I don't remember. Epstein. Yeah, Epstein. He was saying the same thing like R. Kelly. What happened to Epstein?
He committed suicide.
Well, that's not allegedly. He got
no, allegedly.
Allegedly committed
there was
suicide.
A whole lot of alleges, but,
right?
Yeah.
So R. Kelly's attorneys see examples just like that, and they say to themselves, "I need to get my client out because I don't want him ending up just like Epstein." So there's a valid reason why. So I could see why they would want to get him out.
Okay.
And he's like, Kane's like, I don't give a shit.
Well, I'm just saying. It's someone in jail that wants to get out.
Right.
Okay.
Because of their safety. Because they don't want to end up like Epstein.
Okay. Like, it's not safe in jail, dog.
Right. So you're saying that's shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Right. Like, I think every inmate can say that.
Well, he proclaimed his innocence.
It's not safe in jail.
That's true.
Right? Like,
especially for innocent people who are locked up and they weren't.
It's not safe for anyone.
Well, that's true.
But
what I'm saying, it's really bad when you're innocent and you're locked up in jail, and then you get killed.
I don't know. I don't think the body hurts more or less if you're innocent or not.
No, but I'm saying it's just worse off when you're in jail and you're innocent and they kill you.
Okay.
Versus you being guilty 100%. And they kill you. That's 100%. All I'm saying.
No, listen. Yeah. I think if you're innocent in jail, yes, you're right. There's levels to this, which it sounds like what you're saying. And so if you're innocent in jail through no reason of your own, does that hurt more than others? Hell yeah, I would imagine, right?
But
I'm just speaking on the notion, the idea that jail is not safe. It's not safe. No, it's not a place where anyone wants to be. People that are in jail want to be out of jail. So I'm not at all surprised that R. Kelly said what he said. Yeah. And if his life generally is in danger, then the prison systems, the people who are in charge of that, need to make his safety a priority, and transfer him to someplace else and put him in an environment to where he's safe.
Right.
Behind bars.
Right. For the rest of his life.
I don't know if the charges, like, I don't know if he was sentenced. At this point, it's all
I think it's like 30 years he was supposed to be in there.
Then do his 30. Right. Whatever the law is. If he can get parole before that, then get parole. If he does 30 years, if it's life, whatever, that's all that I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. No more, no less than what you were sentenced for. And you shouldn't, in my opinion, special concessions shouldn't be made because of for the reasons by which he's saying.
That's true.
That's my 2 cents.
And you're right. And the guards, listen, keep him safe so he could serve all those years and not get off easy and just get his ass killed.
I mean, we're saying the same thing, but different motivations.
Yeah, exactly.